Look who's back. Back again. Wow. Sneako's back. Tell a friend. Listen, bro, this feels good. It's like a different, I feel like YouTube's different. Do you feel like it's different?
It feels the same. You know, I haven't logged in 3 years. Looking at I still have the same recommended that I had 3 years ago. The vibe is very similar. I now have a partner manager and they're nice to me. They talk to me for the first time, but it still feels the same in a way. Like I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I'm so used to having free speech and I can't trust Google again. Like I'm happy, but anybody not stupid, there's no chance you could trust them after what they did.
I see what you're saying. So do you think that now as you make content on YouTube, you're going to be more hesitant with what you do?
Yeah, I'm going to be more strategic. I just want to show them I'm a good content creator, you know, just put out the videos that I like the most. But I'm definitely going to be a lot more strategic and less cerebral. I think for a while when I was streaming on YouTube, when I got all my strikes, I was very, you know, go every full blast, time to like pace it and think things out.
When you say full blast, you just mean like whatever I'm thinking I'm going to say it?
That's what I was doing then, yeah. And it was without caring about the repercussions or without thinking strategically. Even though I didn't say anything, they admitted that what I said was correct. You know, they apologized. If you read the email that I posted on my Twitter, Google said, "Thank you for your patience. 3 years of patience."
Yeah.
But sorry, we were wrong. So, but I think the reason there's many reasons that I was banned everywhere. Obviously, like the actual reasons were misinformation. But if I had played it, you know, more strategic and thought more long term instead of full speed ahead, I would have lasted longer.
Yeah.
Before getting banned.
You know what I find really interesting?
But thank you. Let me interrupt you before your question. I want to say thank you to you. You know, I think that podcast, obviously the campaign that I did 3 years of campaigning to prove Google wrong, and I ended up winning. That's a major feat. I've never seen that happen on YouTube. I've never seen a YouTuber get their channels reinstated like this ever. You know, somebody get blanket permanently suspended. 3 years I was going around on podcasts. I was making my videos on X. I was talking about it on stream. And our last podcast that we did went up here. We were there on my balcony right over here.
Yeah.
With my YouTube plaque. And I was talking about, I immediately started off by saying I was wrongfully banned for COVID and election misinformation, things that you can now talk about on YouTube. And I think that was effective. And you gave me a platform to tell the truth when I didn't have one, when most of what's on YouTube is from, you know, boring commentary channels that just do drama slop, that want to say something negative. You know, that's what's dominating YouTube right now because of the algorithm. But you were there giving me an opportunity to say what was right. And you ended up being vindicated too. So thanks. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think, and I thank you for that, by the way, before I continue, but the thing that I'm starting to really notice, and I don't know if it's, exactly true with what I'm going to say next, but it feels like there is a lot more power that people have now more than ever, that it felt like at least now. I think the future I'm a little more concerned about, but because of AI and stuff like this, but it seems like right now in this current time and at least over the last 3 years and the last few years, people have had a lot more power than I think they've been willing to give themselves like credit for. Meaning, like, I don't think these changes would have become changes if they didn't feel a need, right? Because as a business, you have to decide, you know, are we losing users to TikTok? Are we losing users to Snapchat? Whatever the other platforms are. And I think these platforms, albeit the biggest platform in the world, Google, with unlimited money essentially owning YouTube, I think they still start to recognize it like, yo, this is wrong. Even though despite at one time, you know, there was a presidency that was saying, yo, clamp down on this. Don't allow this to be said. Don't allow this to go out, which is why you ended up the way you ended up, which obviously was wrong, and they admitted it. But I think, like, do you think it would have changed if enough people weren't like, yo, what the f?
Probably not. And they see the long-term play. AI is going to replace a lot of people on the algorithm. And they know that. A lot of the thumbnail replicate, you know, since I left YouTube, there's been so many, I'll just be honest, a lot of Mr. Beast clone type videos. Those people are going to be gone. A lot of fitness influencers, AI is going to replace them. A lot of people who don't have a personality and an authentic voice, AI does what they do better. So they know, and they're panicking. They're seeing what Sora's doing, and why would I listen to you when AI is speaking in a better way? And also, she has bigger tits and she's more attractive. This AI girl, I'm just gonna go listen, and she does what I say, and she talks to me back, and that's replacing so many of them. So they know that authentic voices are valuable. And I mean, weirdly enough, over the past 3 years, not only did the banned voice, because I exploded in popularity since I was banned. It's not supposed to happen. Since I was gone, I mean, I had 2 million subscribers, but far more people know who I am now. My name has more recognition. And also more people are just interested in listening to the wrongfully banned voices. People want to hear those banned voices because those are the ones that are having the interesting conversations. Yeah. But everyone else, if you look at, what's readily available in most other places, it's nothing. So YouTube they want to fight back against AI. They need creators.
So you said something that was interesting though. The AI taking over and the authentic voices, and also you got more popular outside being canceled, and people wanted to hear those voices that were canceled. Do you think that maybe it's somewhat of a play of maybe we can lessen the power of these voices by allowing them back on almost? Because now you have the ability to control that sort of algorithm in a better way than you were if they were about. Then again, right? There is not as many people using Rumble. There's not as many people a ton of people search on Twitter. But what I'm trying to say is your voice got sort of louder, or more people were interested in it because it was banned. It makes me think like maybe they think if we allow these people, then maybe they'll have less of an influence. Ironically enough.
That's a pretty decent, that's a good insight. YouTube is different than Twitch. So Twitch, they do something called off-platform behavior. That's why I was banned. I've been banned on Twitch so many times I've been permanently banned on Twitch, and one of them was off-platform behavior. So they just said like, oh, we don't like what you did on that website, so we're going to ban you on our website. Yeah. YouTube doesn't have that policy. Although they do evaluate it, absolutely. That's not part of their community guidelines, which I have become an expert in. So if you follow that, then we should be fine. And if you want to have conversations about difficult subjects, then just do it on other platforms. But who knows? What I've learned is that if they want you banned, they will. Yeah. So that's it definitely, that falls into the walking on eggshells theory that I'm finding myself in. I've been so used to having free speech. Now that haven't even uploaded my first video back, and I'm already like, okay, can I see this? Can I say that? I'm already remembering what it's like to not be able to say the word, or, not be able to title it properly, censor the first 30 seconds, make a joke about whatever. I don't miss that.
Yeah. There's a little cumbersome for sure being on YouTube with that. But so
what do you think? What's your, those are decent insights, but what do you think the reason is? Obviously Steve will do it. I don't know if he announced it, but I think he's able to make a new channel. A lot of people who were banned are able to make new channels, but Google said specifically my case, I can get reinstated fully, which means getting all my channels back because I was wrongfully banned. So why do you think that they unbanned all of us?
That's maybe my view is a little pessimistic, but I think a little bit I think it's twofold. I think it's what I said first, is that they realize that content creators, to a certain degree, like you said, the authentic voice ones are, I think, few and far in between. And I think they realize that those are the most powerful ones. Like they look at people like, for example, Tucker Carlson, right? Who went off of all these news channels and now has probably one of the biggest platforms like that is like alternative sort of news, for the right, obviously in this case. I think they're recognizing that like news entirely is like pretty much dying, the CNN, all this stuff. I mean, they've known that, but I think that they're starting to realize that, people, at least in this spectrum where you kind of line, like you're a blend of a lot of things. I think you got comedy. I think you have artistic nature. I think you also talk about politics. So I think you cover a lot of stuff, but I think they recognize, at least in the political sphere, that they won't have content creators if they continue doing that. Like, okay, we don't like what you said, get off of our platform, in regards to political stuff. And so, but then the other side of it is like, well, maybe they want them back on the platform. So you just said minutes ago where you're like, well, I don't know if I could say this, or I don't know if I could say that now this way. Then you kind of start to self-police yourself. Like, truthfully, I have for years. Like, I'm not even going to front and be like, there aren't conversations that you and I did a podcast with Myron here for like 4 hours one night. And I think we cut
Great
out
podcast.
2 hours of it, or like an hour and a half, because it was like, I knew you guys had already kind of gone through the, the being banned, and you guys were like posting. And I was like, bro, I will get banned for this.
We were also kind of telling you on the podcast, this should probably not go in.
Yes,
like, this
fair. You weren't like ruin you guys were very straightforward. Like, this is not good. For it was good for the conversation, and it was a great conversation, but for YouTube, it wasn't good. So that's why I'm saying, like, for years, I've sort of like self-policed myself with the fear.
I remember the two, like, I remember October 8th, I went on your podcast with Sarah, and immediately I was like, free Palestine. I was talking about this, and you guys were like, can we do this? Can we? It was like, it was uncomfortable. And that is maybe they're thinking that they're actually bigger if they're off YouTube because they get free speech and everybody's flocking other platforms. If we allow them back on, then we can control them and therefore hinder their growth.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. So I'm thinking that, or it's just a straight up, not even political. I think it's just a straight up like understanding of where this is going. Like we talked about, I think it's a twofold. I think it's both those things combined, where they do understand the power in like actual authentic voices and wanting them to stay on their platforms versus just like, we're known as a platform that, for example, Rumble came to be because it was like, we're the opposite of these other platforms that will literally tell you can't talk about this, you can't say that. And I think they started to get like the idea that if we continue to go down this road of censorship, then we're going to actually hurt ourselves in the long run. I think that might be the bigger reason, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's just an algorithm play, because at the end of the day, like, you're still going to get attention for whatever you're talking about in regards to whatever, depending on, the sensationalism of the conversation, the currentness of the conversation. You're still going to get views. You're still going to get attention regardless. So I think it was just a long. They did
also admit, and this comes right after Trump sued Google and I think won $35 million. The Congressman or Representative Jim Jordan, he applied legal pressure on YouTube, and YouTube posted a letter saying that the Biden administration applied pressure on them to ban misinformation, which was COVID election misinformation.
The same thing
and that falls in line with what Zuckerberg said on Joe Rogan. He said that the Biden administration. So although there's some good points there, this is also factual. They've now admitted it and said, this is un-American. This is wrong. It goes against free speech, and is also kind of borderline tampering with elections. If they're saying that one political party was able to silence the other by, getting involved in big tech, which controls information, that does change the course of our country. So I'm happy that they were able to reevaluate, but it's always like, in hindsight's 2020, they say this now and they apologize now, but when it was important to say, you got banned. Like, if you talk about the vaccine now, it's useless. Everybody, most people got it. Did you get it?
Yeah, I think I had it like once or twice. I never. Oh no, the vaccine. No. I thought you meant COVID. I never got the vaccine. Okay. Absolutely not.
Good. I thought you had. I was about to make fun of your tainted blood.
No. I've gotten COVID once or twice. I've never had. I was vehemently against it. I mean, I kept my gym open. I was like, I'm not doing this. You can't even make this make sense to me.
I remember you'd had the gym open. That whole controversy.
Yeah,
and also,
bro,
you can talk about election.
Court 8 times. So I'm like, I'm not closing.
Right. Okay. You're based.
I'm that guy, bro. From the beginning, bro.
You're based.
From the start.
Congrats. In LA, that's rare. That deserves props. But it's like, now you could talk about it, or now you could do what you did back then, but it doesn't really have the impact. Like, you could talk about election misinformation now, but the election already passed. Like, Biden and Trump already went at it. It doesn't hold the same weight.
Yeah.
So because everyone agrees they did it at a crucial time.
Because everyone. And you know what's interesting about that, though, dude? We were talking about this the other day on the phone. That's my concern with the way this is going for the future in AI and like the control of the narrative, like being able to like really control the narrative. And we'll talk about some of those narratives now, but my concern is that, like, because if you could make something like not feel controversial, which in most cases it shouldn't be, because it's just conversations. But I think, like, right now we're talking about COVID, and COVID at one point was this thing that you're like, you can't say that, you can't say this. It's you're killing old people, whatever the reasons were to virtue signal to make you not talk about it. Even though there was like all these other alternative things that were good fixes or good, things to slow down COVID that were, don't talk about ivermectin, don't talk about this stuff. I wonder if, like, the future of this is no one really being able to talk about anything outside of a narrative because it's so controlled. Like, it almost seems like it's like this, it feels like it's this last moment. I really hope we're not going like, right now you're here, we're able to say, yo, you're here, you're back, you could talk, you could share stuff. You got to kind of self-police yourself a little bit. But my fear is in like, when this AI stuff gets so crazy and they really are able to control the narrative to such a degree that the narrative will just be what they want it to be, no matter what is said. Because let's say if I said something, but they didn't want it to be out there, then you could censor it in a way that is like, for example, right now we have certain things people say on Twitter or whatever platform, and you could tell it gets boosted. Like, you could tell it gets a lot more love. You could tell it gets a lot more attention. And there's bots, and they're pushing traffic to these things. Or so my fear is that like the opposite of that happening when the AI gets better and the control gets better and the ability to like track what people are saying even better and even more. That's my fear with the furtherment of AI, that we're going to get to a point where there's no other narratives because you don't even hear them.
If it's getting impossible to tell if people are real in videos, then imagine how fake engagement is when you see propaganda against a certain group. And
this is what I want to talk about.
Netanyahu saying publicly that he's paying $7,000 per post for pro-Israeli propaganda, saying that he wants to invest and get influencers to support Israel more. You see the people that own OpenAI, ChatGPT, that own the majority of these AI companies and who they support. It's like all roads always lead to the same spot. So who does AI benefit? Is it going to benefit the people like me, or is it going to benefit the opposite narrative? So I think I'm seeing the algorithm shift, especially recently since the ceasefire. And now Trump is saying that he wants to deploy troops and destroy Hamas after they just announced a ceasefire. And it's very clear that a lot of this is that not only is a lot of this engagement fake, but it's going to continue. Like, the narrative is super important to them. They realize that over the past 2 years, they've been bombing kids so much, and Israel's become super unpopular among the youth. Charlie Kirk was admitting that before he was assassinated, that look, the youth is turning and it's hard for me to keep promoting Judeo-Christian values. Nobody wants to keep giving tax dollars to kids dying.
Yeah.
The fact that they lost that, and that the support, especially the American support, is crucial to them, because if Israel does not have American support, they cease to exist. They're like a parasite. They rely upon our media. They rely upon our money, our military aid. Trump just went in Israel and bragged in front of Netanyahu about all the military, the completely complicated and how specific the bombs and the missiles that Netanyahu demanded were. We give them everything. So if that relationship is crucial to them, and you've seen Netanyahu go on this media tour everywhere, talking about Judeo-Christian values, making sure to put the Israeli flag next to the American flag, making sure you get on the Nelk Boys podcast where they have the American youth and be like, we're the same. I eat McDonald's. Yeah. I eat Burger King. I'm just like you guys, like regulated. If that is so clearly their goal and their mission to make sure that relationship is instilled and make people think that Israel is the 51st state, then of course they're going to continue to pay for propaganda. Of course they're going to use AI to boost engagement.
Yeah, well, I mean, even that Netanyahu thing where he was talking about, like, we got to talk to Elon Musk about Twitter. Even that same conversation, I saw him sit down and talk. I don't know who he was talking specifically to, but he was being recorded. I think he was talking to like that group of maybe like social media people in the same conversation where he's talking about, influencers and check out some of our influencers. Mm-hmm. He was saying how like, oh, we got to talk to Elon Musk, and also how, oh, there's this sale of TikTok, and now TikTok is going to be, hopefully that goes through. It just, it's too, I'm leading to a question here that I want to ask you. It's too blatant, right? It feels like, because at this point, everyone sees all those things. They see all those clips. They see Trump, like you said, he gets on, he talks about Myron Adelson being like this like huge proponent of Israel. And then you can look very clearly, Myron Adelson is one of his biggest donors. I think it was like $200 million for the
super
campaign.
Billionaire.
And
she's a dual citizen, an American Israeli citizen, and she clearly prefers. Well,
he literally says on the platform, he says, and I like what country does she like more, Israel or America? And I think it's Israel. And it's like, it's just what I'm saying is it's so in our face at this point do you think it's on purpose? I feel like it's on purpose.
I don't think it's on purpose. So I understand that theory. The theory is that they are bombing kids publicly on purpose, and they brag about how much control they have to make Israel hated. And if they're hated, then they can band together more and they can become stronger. And then by a byproduct is maybe they incite a war. And obviously Israel wants to go to war with Iran. Obviously Israel wants to expand and become the greater state and take over the Middle East and eventually the world. That's clear. I don't think so. I just think that they know that they can get away with it. They know that they control the United States. It's been leaked that Netanyahu brags about controlling Trump. I think that they saw if they can get away with bombing kids for 2 years, breaking all these war crimes, doing whatever they want, being wanted all over the world, and still be able to do it without pushback and still hold allegiance with most of the United States politicians, then why wouldn't they do it more? Yeah, if this is, it's clearly working. Nothing is like they control. Like, look at that. Trump just said that he's bragging about being able to, I saved TikTok. No, you didn't. It's just instead of Chinese control, it's under Israeli control now. It's one of the richest Zionists in America, and he's funding AIPAC. It's like it's not TikTok is saved. Like immediately, one of the first things they did was ban the juice box emoji. Was that because the juice box emoji was violent, or were people using it to talk about Israel? Yeah, it's clear who's in control now. I don't believe that theory, because if they wanted to be hated so much, then they wouldn't also invest so much money and in the propaganda. Then Netanyahu wouldn't be sitting next to Kyle and Siney talking about Burger King and McDonald's. He would just continue bombing and then not have to do a media tour.
But you don't think if you could incite enough hate for yourself, for example, where then you would be in a position that would actually become violent, right? Like, for example, the Charlie Kirk thing, where there's this whole narrative around Charlie Kirk where he said all these such terrible things that he got this person from who aligns with this group over here that is willing to assassinate him, right? So that what I'm saying is I'm giving you like a different representation where someone goes, if people can hate me enough, then they'll want to hurt me. And if someone hurts me, then I can pass some law, pass some bill, pass something to control more of that. Meaning, like, if I can get people to hate me enough, could I say that, okay, now we've gone too far in this hating direction because it's so prevalent. Like right now, it's so prevalent. Now that we can
already passing anti-Semitism laws. Trump passed a bill where foreign students who are on student visas, if they say free Palestine, then they can get deported and lose their visa. Right. There's already anti-Semitism laws.
But that's what I'm talking about. So my theory of this, the idea of they're will, because they're not. I don't think any of these people are dumb, bro. I don't think they're dumb. Do you think they're dumb?
No, absolutely not.
So if they're not dumb, then they're probably thinking, right? If you can get enough people to hate you, then you could justify means to protect the hate, right? So then you could justify, like you just said, okay, well, we could start with these people who aren't citizens. We could kick them out. Where does that go? Does that go, oh, the hate gets even worse. Oh, now if you're a citizen and you say this, then we could do this to you, or we could say that to you. I mean, they've already tried to pass stuff like that as far as like you couldn't boycott.
But I don't think they need to, because they also have staged false flag attacks. And one of the publicly known ones, which is no longer a conspiracy theory, is the USS Liberty. If they want to hate, like, they can just do it themselves. They can just attack people. Some people, they assume that October 7th was known about for 6 hours, and they allowed October 7th to happen so that they could justify the war, and then that they could go and, well, not the war, they can just bomb Palestine. That they knew they had knowledge that October 7th was happening, and they knew that Hamas was going to attack. And they said, okay, we'll do this, and now we can do what we want to do. That's the theory. The other theory is that 9/11 was used to justify the war in Iraq and Iran. Israel's a country that's surrounded by all these enemies in the Middle East, and they need U.S. military support. So they stage an attack, 9/11, and then now every American is like, oh, brown people, Muslims, and they go in. And then remember, you know who's the one saying that there were weapons of mass destruction? There's weapons of mass destruction.
I know exactly.
That was Benjamin Netanyahu.
20 years ago.
And then we go there.
30 years ago, same thing.
The same guy. And we go there. There's no weapons of mass destruction. I can understand why people have that theory. Look at what happened the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. People don't talk about this enough. Benjamin Netanyahu goes on Fox News and immediately says that Charlie Kirk was killed by radical Islamists and working with the Marxists. He's trying to frame radical Islamists with Antifa Marxists and group them together. Nobody talked about. Everyone just forgot about that immediately. And then he made a video saying, "I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. It was the radical Islamists." They know that by blaming brown people, blaming Muslims, that they can get America to do whatever they want. That's why you see the Muslim hate always ramped up right before another war starts. If they wanted to justify what they do, if they wanted, like, if they needed hate, then you wouldn't see so many of these false flag attacks.
I see what you're saying. We'll talk about the Islamic stuff in a second, but excuse me, I want to continue on this first. I understand what you're saying, but there's also a really important thing here. I think it's gotten to the point with Israel and these false flag attacks that if a false flag attack happened again, everyone would just, it wouldn't even feel like a false flag. They would just immediately point and be like, yeah, it was probably them. It's definitely them. So my point is, I think they know that they don't really have that necessarily the same options as they did before in the past that they had. And I think the biggest thing, by Benjamin Netanyahu's own words, that they're trying to fight against is the information, is what are people saying? What are people getting other people to believe? And I think that's the thing that in the long run, they want to be able to like fully squeeze and fully choke. And I think if you can get enough people to hate you, then you could start to rationalize, okay, we can make this a law that you can't hate this much. You can't hate this far. And I think that's like, maybe not as overtly, they're going to pass a law and do it, but I think that's what's going to happen with the AI advancement. Because did you see recently, there was this, senator of Massachusetts that said, I'm going to give back the money that AIPAC has given me, and I'm not going to take any more money from them. My point is, that's happening right now. That happened 2 days ago. And right now, right, if you go 5 years in the future, how many more people are going to like forego this sort of, we're going to not take this money because so many people know, and so many people are aware, and so many people are bringing it up, and so many people are talking about it, that because the talk is happening, that war itself, as he would describe it, his own, like that's this other front of war, this information war, is so much more powerful in this case that they could justify, if they hate us enough, then we could cover some ends here, and then we could start to really clamp down. That's what I think. That's my perspective of it, because it's just like I said, the false flag. If they did it, then it'd be like, oh, it's clearly it's you, and it would just make it worse. And I think they want to get to the point where their narrative, you don't even hear it about it anymore. Because, dude, if these politicians are already like foregoing money now, like imagine where this goes in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years when everyone right now who believes these things and who knows them to be true, they come into power. They're the new senators. They're the new Congress people. They already know I'm not with them. If I got there, I wouldn't with them, because people now are doing it. Think how scary that is. So I think it's an information thing more than it is like a bombing or a false flag thing that they can really even like utilize at this point.
Yeah, I understand that theory, but why would Miriam Adelson spend so much money to try to slander Thomas Massey, who's one of the few who's not taking money from AIPAC? Then why do the 7K posts everywhere? Then why go on this whole media tour saying he didn't kill Charlie Kirk? And if you're saying that a false flag would be really obvious, but it hasn't been obvious. The people who theorize about October 7th and about USS Liberty and what happened in 2001, that was, look how we went to Iraq, we went to Iran. The clue, I mean, people who are able to connect the dots and assume that it was a false flag attack, that wasn't the common theory. Charlie Kirk, for example, I think there's a very, I said this the first day it happened, there's a clear case, or there's a lot of questions to be asked, like, was it really some, deranged person who's dating a transgender, or, who's been very public about killing journalists, killing foreign leaders, bombing U.S. allies. Israel bombed Qatar 3 weeks ago, and we moved on. That's an ally of ours who's capable of killing people in foreign lands for their own personal gain. And we saw that Charlie Kirk was starting to turn against Israel. Candace Owens just released text where he says, I don't think I can keep doing this with Israel. They're saying he refused money. They wanted to give him $150 million to Turning Point USA to give positive propaganda. And when he said, I'm not going to do it, you saw what happened to him.
But was that actually confirmed? The 150, I think it was 150 million. Was that actually confirmed? Though? I don't
100%.
think that was actually confirmed. I think that was just hearsay.
That one's still theorized, but the text messages, that one is confirmed, where he did specifically say,
yeah. I did. That was confirmed by his own
even
people.
Close before he died, he went on with Megyn Kelly and he was starting to say, hey, they're calling me anti-Semitic for just even questioning what's going on with Israel.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have undying support, even I'm getting called anti-Semitic, this is going too far. He went on the Patrick Bet-David podcast and said he thought that October 7th was allowed to happen.
Yeah, the standout order.
A lot of this, the standout order was 6 hours late. A lot of this does not follow the Trump narrative, the Judeo-Christian narrative, the narrative of the most valuable asset to promote Judeo-Christian values. That was Charlie Kirk, to keep the American youth. And if he's starting to turn, then he can't go full red pill. He can't go fully down, because then a lot of other people are going to turn too. The American sport is extremely valuable to them. And that's why if you talk to so many boomers, I know if you're on Twitter, you think a lot of people are starting to become aware in this stuff, but many people have undying allegiance and still believe in Judeo-Christian values. The vast majority of white Christians in America believe in Judeo-Christian values. A lot of them are evangelical Christians. They say what Ted Cruz says, where in the Bible it says God must bless those who blesses the state of Israel, who think that Israel is our greatest ally. That propaganda has seeped into the minds of so many people, and it's really hard to deprogram that.
Yeah, I just think where it's going. I don't. I mean, just knowing the past, right? If the future is more technology, more advancement, more AI, more control, like I feel like it's going to go in that direction where I don't know at what year can you be like, you literally can't even get the information out there that's opposing that relationship, because it needs it so much and it's so ingrained, like you said. I just don't know. Like, do you think it goes to a place where you won't even be able to talk about it because AI has gotten so advanced and because the controls of it, or because of things that they passed in regards to it? Like that Peter Thiel guy doesn't want people to like be able to even criticize what AI is doing or not doing. Like, that's a very weird thing. And he's like one of the leaders in it.
Palantir needs to be talked about a lot more by a lot of people. The thing is, though, a lot of this is probably inevitable. Like where we're at now, where OpenAI is starting to introduce romantic relationships on ChatGPT.
Insane,
that was
bro.
a dystopian movie called Her in 2013. Now that's the norm. Yeah. Now that there's ads, we just left the train station on West 4th Street, and ads everywhere for this device called Friend, where it's a little device that you wear around your neck that listens and spies to everything you say, and it texts and talks to you. It becomes your AI friend. This is just inevitable. So if they want to use that as a tool to censor and to shut people up and to prevent us from having these conversations, of course they're going to use it. But all we can do is do our best until then.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so let's switch a little bit to the Islam stuff. I saw you have a debate with Myron about this, I guess, the sort of Christian nationalism and Islamic, beliefs or practices within America, and it being like, you guys are. I found it pretty interesting. His perspective was pretty interesting.
Who do you agree with?
You. Yeah, because I guess I gotta. Well, you could preface it. Like, talk to me about like what the whole conversation was really about,
so
and why
this narrative. Yeah,
why it came about. Because I've seen the shit on Twitter where it's like,
so you know why I think it came about. I think Myron fell for. I love Myron. He's one of my best friends. Extremely loyal, extremely smart. I think that he fell for some of the 7K rage bait that started to pop up, and the $7,000. If they want to, redirect the anger, they're going to start blaming Muslims. That's always been the playbook. Radical Islamists, Al Qaeda, Taliban. Be scared, Iran, Iraq. And now people are like, okay, I can't believe that people are still falling for this, or maybe it's all fake engagement. But after the past 20 years, Gen Z, we grew up with this, TSA paranoia, being scared of Muslims. We thought Allahu Akbar was, a call for a bomb, but it's really just saying God is great. When you learn about what this is, you're like, wait, I thought you learn what Muslim is, and you're like, oh, that means submitting to God. This was years of programming. There was a kid in 5th grade. He dressed up in a thobe, and we all made terrorist jokes at him the whole day. That's what everyone's idea was. So I think Myron saw the recent brigade. We've all seen it. Everyone's starting. You see this word Islamist that they keep using. What does that mean, Islamist?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's someone that practices Islam.
So it's instead of saying Muslim, the people that are getting paid by Israel, the shills, they start saying Islamist because it sounds like terrorist. It's just like this word that they made. Yeah, that Islamist. It's like, what does that even like? I like peaceful Muslims. I have a problem with Islamists. If you Google what it means, it just means somebody who wants to spread Islam, which is all Muslim. Every religious person wants to spread the religion. Like they're just making it sound like this scary word. It sounds like Zionist, Islamist, terrorist. So I think you saw some of that, and people are now, some of that outrage has been redirected towards people, the citizens of Dearborn. It's 100,000 people. It's like it's 90% Muslim, and the town must have agreed to play the call to prayer. All right, it's loud, but also I don't see any outrage from the citizens there. Yeah, I don't see any of that. But people are like, they're invading America. Okay, what if Muslims are invading America? Then why are they 1% of the population? And why does AIPAC control 98% of our politicians? Where's the Muslim invasion? And then they're like, they're blocking off Times Square to pray. And I'm like, Myron, I was there. Like Sonny was there. I was praying in the first line. I made a vlog there. There's a walking area, not even the sidewalk, but there's just like this open area. And we set it up and we prayed. And the police didn't stop us. Nobody complained. It took like 10, 20 minutes. It was peaceful. Didn't bother anybody. But online, you could be like, look at them. They're taking over New York City. And it's like, no, this is just like a prayer for a bit. People do, you remember those dances in 2011 where everybody would freeze?
Yeah.
And stop. What do you call those? I forgot the name of that. That used to take up all Times Square.
Mannequin challenge.
Mannequin. I don't think it was called something else before. But I mean, there's, Dominican Day parades, there's gay pride parades that take up the entire Fifth Avenue, that block traffic. When we prayed during Ramadan, during this most important month in Times Square, like that's just like a holiday celebration for one day. And we didn't need the cops. We weren't blocking anybody. And also, what else are you blocking in Times Square? Advertisements, Elmo, what's happening in Times Square? Like, and also it's like, you know what else is disrupting in Times Square? All the street performers, they jump around and a crowd forms. Right? People doing the flips, showtime. That's how much space we took. So it's like, this is not people taking over America. And Myron's like, oh, I know what you guys are doing. You're asserting dominance. Praying is asserting dominance. Isn't that the most submissive thing you can do? Putting your head to the floor and saying, God is great. This is like, it's humbling, and then people get to see what you're all about. And what was great about that public display is not only one, could we not fit in a mosque because there was too many, and it was like an all-American New Yorkers coming to pray, but people get to see like, oh wait, Muslims are, this is peaceful praying, but what are you guys doing? And then they ask, and then they learn something that they didn't know, especially after all the years of propaganda. It's an opportunity for them to see what we're really about. And so for them, for people to start saying that this is disrupting and destroying New York City is just completely disingenuous.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's more in related. I feel like New York specifically, this whole conversation is sort of surrounding the Zohani guy, the Mandani guy, Zohan Mandani.
Zohan, yeah.
Yeah,
he's not a good representation of Muslims.
Right. But I think that's why this conversation is sort of like ramping up. I mean, not overall, but specifically we're talking about New York.
That's part of it. That's part of it. He just denounced Hassan Piker. He just said that Hassan was reprehensible for saying America deserved 9/11. He's like completely separated from him. And also in that debate yesterday, Mamdani says he wants to decriminalize prostitution. And, some of the stuff he says is absolutely ridiculous. And he's also really starting to dial back his anti-Zionist position.
Yeah. And I try to understand Myron's point, because his idea, the thing that I can't get behind is, I was watching the debate, and every time he would reference, if we went to another country, we couldn't do this over there. Like you couldn't practice, Christianity. Well, not only, I don't think it's not only, I don't know, to be honest, how
it's not true. It is. There's more Christians in Saudi Arabia than Muslims in America. Like there's the ratio.
I get it, but hold on, that's not even the point.
Lebanon.
The point I wanted to make was not even that. That's not the point is like, but that's not America. Like that's not what, like they did not found America there. That is literally a Muslim country. Like they announced they are a Muslim country, right? So I don't understand how we're making references to a Muslim country when we're talking about America. In America, the First Amendment is about the freedom of speech, the right to religion, and
freedom of religion. Yeah.
And like you said, some of the founding fathers even talk about it specifically. And the number one thing that I thought when I was watching that debate was like, wait, so if I, I grew up a Catholic, I pretty much, I would align myself with a Christian, at least now in my life, as far as like beliefs go. I'm white. I look this way. If I all of a sudden converted to to be a Muslim, and then I started practicing. Am I now I'm a guest here? Like, it didn't make
Now
sense.
you're a guest. Now you're a guest in your own country. So same thing. I was born Catholic. I was baptized. I was an atheist for a while and then became Muslim. So now by that logic, I'm a guest in my own country. And then I kept breaking down his argument. I'm like, what about minorities? He's like, yeah, just white people. I'm like, so, okay. So I'm a guest in my own country because I'm not white. Not only because I'm Muslim, but because I'm a non-white person. Then you break it down and he said that, I'm like, okay, so if you break it down, so the only people that are not guests in America that are entitled to this country are white Christians with several generations of American-born family members. That must be like 5% of the country. Yeah. He's like, yeah, that's true. So 95% are guests by that logic, which is, it's all made up, and I understand why he's saying that. He's, kind of, that's a lot of his audience are all about that. But just like this statement alone, that America's a Christian country, is literally factually untrue. That's not true at all. It's not in any American doctrine. It's not in the Constitution. It goes against, it's literally un-American to say that because we have freedom of religion. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason they left. They wanted to get away from the monarchy. A lot of the founding fathers were deists. Thomas Jefferson owned a copy of the Quran. They wrote that it's a country for all religions, and they specified even Muslims at the time. So,
well, because I mean, at the time when they founded, weren't they trying to evade like sort of persecution based on their own religious beliefs back in Britain? Exactly.
And also where it falls apart is they're like, okay, Christians, okay, so Protestants, Catholics, they're close enough. Well, actually, no, they went to war for like thousands of years in Ireland, like tooth and nail swords. Like these people are not like, it's just like the same thing because they think Christ is king. No. A lot of them excommunicate each other. They think one is not another Christian, and they battle each other. So you can come to America and then unite based off Christianity. That's never happened. It's disingenuous. So, I mean, people could say America's a majority Christian country, but
it is.
It's not a Christian.
That is true.
It's a majority. Yeah, but Christian nationalism, like it doesn't. That's actually as un-American as they say Zoran Mamdani or these communists are. It goes against the fundamentals of what this country is all about.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I find really interesting, and maybe this is just like a greater piece of this whole conversation. I just find interesting how much people believe, and this could be said about the whole Israel-Palestine conflict or any conflict over the course of history, is how much people have tied theology to what they believe they deserve or they should have. It's interesting because like we're all of us, every single one of us is technically a guest here on earth. Like we don't own shit. Like, it's just a very interesting conversation to have in general to say, this is ours. We own this. This is mine. It's like, you can go back how many centuries? Romans owned most of Europe, and you can go back, and before them, it was just whatever indigenous people or cultures that were around in those places were living in those places. America, same thing here. Like, we took this from them, and at one point they thought that they were right and everything was right there, and now we're here, right? So it's weird. It's weird in general on like just a world level to be like, this is mine because my God told me it is. Or because my God told someone 2,000 years ago that it was his, and then it passed down, so now it's mine. It's just, I don't know. I just have a weird disconnect with this like religious belief to like, this is my land and it's not yours. And like, the thing is, when I look at it like that, where does it start and where does it end? We could talk about the Israel-Palestine thing forever. You could talk about whose land it was based on at what time did they have it, and it was stolen from them or stolen from them. And it's just like, who is deciding? Okay, 11 AD. This is now that from that inception forward. That's whose it is. It's like it's a weird conversation overall, generally.
And nationalism, I understand the importance of nationalism, but throughout history, it's always ended up in warfare. Nationalism is the number one tool used to divide people. The entitlement to think that this is mine and I own this and it's my lineage. No, it's like, this is God's land and we're all guests here. We're all here temporarily. And while we're here, because we're visitors, if you really think about it, we're visiting here. We have a short amount of time. We all know that we die. That's one certainty. And then we leave. But it's God's land. And nationalism has historically always caused war and division. And it's funny because I'm seeing there's a
but
white identitarian.
So has religion.
Religion has, yeah, of course. Yeah,
I think
the
those
division
are
of belief.
The two biggest driving factors of like all wars ever. Like those two things.
Nationalism and religion.
Yeah, man.
Faith and nationalism. Nationalism, but you see, like there's a big white identity uprising, and they're saying And now, because if you ask a white person, well, first I'll ask you, what is a white person?
Someone with less melanin than someone else.
So me?
I mean, your skin's fairly white, but yeah, I guess I wouldn't consider you white.
Why not?
Exactly. Yes, I don't have an
based
answer.
off your definition. There you go. So no one has an answer.
I guess maybe it'd be like someone from Britain, someone from, I don't even know. Yeah, I'm Italian, so it's like some are darker than others. That's kind of goes to the point that I'm saying.
Up until like the 60s and 50s, Italians weren't white in America. You know that, right?
Right. Yeah, they were treated like like another group of people that were enslaved. Yeah. And so that's kind of my whole point is like this whole conversation. It just becomes so interesting, and I try and look at it from like way out, and I'm like, we're all like, what the? Everyone just constantly fighting about everything all the time, and they go, my God said this or God said that, so you're wrong and I'm right. Let's fight.
That's what always divides people. I mean, look, so the whiteness one is so funny to me because you ask people like, what is a white person? There's no clear definition. For a while, it was people from Sweden, Norway, Finland, the UK, maybe, and the Netherlands, and then they added Germany, and then then now I think the widely accepted one that I see on Twitter, which is my field research, is they say European. Okay, I mean, European. So what about?
You could do this about any place. You could say, what's a Brazilian? You go, oh, are they brown? But there's black Brazilians. You could say, what's a Panamanian? But oh, they're brown, but there's black. Yeah. There's Chinese Panamanians. Like you could do this about any continent.
Imagine taking Myron's logic and telling a Native American, you guys are guests here. You're not Christian. You're not white. Imagine telling a Native American with roots centuries back, this is my home, you're a guest. Like how ridiculous that statement is. Yeah, arriving here and saying, you're a visitor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's my whole point in the conversation is like, it just seems like all of farce. Like at what point, who is determining that this is mine and it's not yours now based on what timeline? Like we're all just a bunch of humans trying to figure it out and be happy and like make money and have kids. Like that's what people are doing. And it just seems like we just constantly find ourselves in these battles of race, religion, and all this shit. And it's, in my opinion, it's just sad, man. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just like,
it's inevitable. This is what was predestined, and it was always going to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. And that's the major test in our life is like, do we fall into these traps? Do we like let ourselves be consumed and commit evil because this is what it does. It drives you away from your real purpose, like getting too deep into any of these ideologies, like saying like, I'm an American and that's all. A lot of these tools, if you go too deep into that, then you just divide and you have this us versus them mentality, and naturally you start to see people as your enemies. Yeah. And if you justify it in your head, that's when war starts.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the need for nationalism as far as like the countries and borders and in control on some of these things, but to some degree, it's just kind of like we're all just sort of making our point as to why we think it's ours and not someone else's. It's just what it feels like. It just feels like that every time I watch these people conversate or debate or say this versus that. So I always find myself being like, am I just like a nihilist, or I'm just like, I don't know. I don't
think you're a nihilist. I think you're a realist because I mean, this is prophecy.
Yeah.
This is prophecy.
Well, so, okay. Well, let's move on to the, you talked about the Mandani guy, or I did. And you brought up him denouncing Hassan, but did you see
him shocking the dog? Did you see him electrocute his dog? Did you see when he became a Sith Lord and his hands turned into these evil tools to shock a dog, a living animal, as a prop to become like empathetic on stream? That was crazy.
I saw cartoons.
That's your boy.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
Dude, your boy's shocking dogs.
Yeah, that didn't sit well with me. I'll tell you that.
Your boy's a dog shocker.
I didn't sit well with me. I have 3 dogs. I love my dogs more than I love people, to be honest. It was weird. I think the initial clip, the thing that I thought that was the most weird was the time lapse, the fact that the dog is in the same spot, obviously in camera, on shot. That's the thing where when I look at the whole thing, I go, oh, that's peculiar. Like, that's interesting. Clearly he wants the dog to be in the shot. Fine. But it does feel weird when he reaches his hand over. That was like, oh man, I don't know what's going on here. That's where I was like, this is hard.
I know what's going on, man.
It's hard to see otherwise. So
your friend's a dog shocker.
Dude,
I don't have any friends that shock dogs. I don't know.
I don't know. This is crazy. I know you don't like the guy, but
I don't have any dog shocking friends.
So you're convinced he shocked the dog?
I mean, you could see it on camera. I don't know why this is like a debate point. I don't know why this is like a conversation.
I'm asking you.
No, I know, but like, it's so funny because everyone knows he did it, and to see like the LA circle, like his orbiters and everything. I saw Pokemon cancel the podcast that she had lined up with him because of the backlash, and seeing them try to it was a vibration collar and he taped over the prongs. What type of millionaire buys a shock collar just to take off the prongs and tape it over? You got to be an actual idiot to do that. He's shocking the dog and they're all coping, but to see his friends kind of like have to cope and justify and like buy and figure out how to navigate the cancel culture, because it's like people have been canceled for saying the N-word or for having the wrong political opinion. Animal abuse, that's a new one. You've been in content for a long time. I've never seen animal abuse, like, because people have been trying to get him banned for a while for like advocating violence and saying to kill senators. The one that gets him is shocking a dog. It's poetic.
Well, I think everyone has a real affinity for dogs. I like dogs more than I like humans most of the time. So I kind of can understand that for sure. You were probably pretty happy about that, probably. Just knowing. No,
I wasn't happy about it. Free Kaya. Everyone in the comment section.
Not the dog being shot.
Everyone in the comment section. Free Kaya.
Free Kaya.
We need to set that beautiful dog free. If we don't, then Brad's going to shock him with.
What the fuck is this nonsense?
Free Kaya, everybody. Please,
don't
free
do
Kaya.
that. But I would never do it, bro. I reprimand my dogs properly. My dogs.
Yeah, you're a good.
Well behaved.
You love your dogs for sure. Yeah.
Yo, you recently did a vlog with Mr. Nick Fuentes. I seen.
Yeah, your podcast was in the vlog. I asked him like, what was your favorite of the generational run? Like, he's been doing so many collabs, and he said yours.
And I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate that. I really enjoyed the conversation, and it's funny because
wait, who group chatted you guys?
Yeah, so I was gonna mention this. I mean, I was gonna lead. Let me lead into this.
No, it's fine.
No, so I wanted to talk to Nick for a long time, for a very long time, and I avoided talking to Nick because of the whole narrative around him and everything that people would, don't do that, don't. And I like fell into that category for a while, and I was like, this is kind of sketchy. And I was.
And then you waited until it was popular, and then
no, it wasn't. It wasn't as popular. No, and he wasn't on podcasts like that yet. What other podcast was he on like mine before mine?
I think he was on Sam Hyde.
No, that was after.
He was starting to go on InfoWars more, which you can, but it was more normalized at that point. It was more normalized, especially after the Nelk Boys had Netanyahu on. They brought me, Nick, Myron on, and the Dog Shocker, the Us Four, to talk about Palestine. So it was more normal. I'm giving you, I'm like just teasing a little bit because
I know.
I was he credits that for saying, he said himself, he said I put him on. But I don't think so. He would have grown regardless.
I'll tell you. I talked about the podcast you and I did with Myron some time. I don't know how long ago was that? Do you remember when we both sat down? It was
a year and a half.
A year and a half ago was the first time you said to me, Myron was there as well, but it was you who said it to me. Yo, you should have Nick Fuentes on. And that's when you gave me his phone.
And you know who told Myron?
What's that?
You know who told Myron about Nick?
Who?
Me. Yeah. I really I saw that he was wrongfully banned, and I could relate to a lot of that stuff. So I wanted to make sure that his voice was heard,
Yeah. So a year and a half ago, you told me. I remember we went to Denny's. Do you remember that? We were in Denny's after the podcast. And you're like, let's go eat. And then you're like, yo, and I was like, I want to have some other people on that are like more controversial because I really enjoy doing that kind of shit. And you're like, you should have Nick on. And then I looked at some of the stuff, and I'm not going to lie. At first I was like, this is like the final boss of canceled guys.
It is. Yeah. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Now it's interesting though. Now it's very like, all these people who would talk sort of like candidly about him, but never mention his name. Now kind of all say his name. He's sort of undeniable in the space.
Yeah. They pretended like he didn't exist for so long.
Yeah.
Like they would,
like they could avoid it. Yeah.
And now it's unavoidable.
Do you think he's changed up his messaging a bit? Nick?
I think he made it more palatable for the mainstream. Yeah. I think I read his New York Times article, and he said he kind of like some of the stuff he said in the past was to provoke, I'm not going to repeat all this stuff, but it was definitely like, it was more humorous, and like when you're banned, you're speaking to an echo chamber. I know what that's like to be on Rumble first, and you just have like the really rabid people who only want to hear about one subject, and you kind of ramp it up and, you know, got to be edgy for them. And now that it's growing, it's like you got to make the mess, but he's done a good job of staying true to what he believes in while also becoming palatable for the mainstream. Yeah. It's I don't think there's no political commentator that's done that before.
Yeah, I mean, he's been talking about similar stuff for probably 10 years now, right?
Since about 10 years, since 2016, almost.
Yeah, that guy's consistent, man. Yo, do you still have that Asian girl picture of you on the wall back there?
Yeah, it's right here. There's me.
My bad, dude. I'm happy you're back on YouTube, man. For real,
I'm happy to be back.
What
can I plug my? Can I? I never plug any. Can I plug my channels?
Yeah, do whatever you want, bro.
YouTube.com/@Sneako. I have to add my second channel is @Sneako, so you can go there. That's my main and my second channel. I got them back, man. It's like I'm happy to plug that because it means everything to me. So
and you have all your historic videos on there too, right? So because you were like a kid when you first started.
I got everything back, man. It's like you can see my whole life on there.
Yeah, that's beautiful, bro. So what's the direction moving forward on YouTube?
So the first thing I'm going to do,
but by the way, chat, I know, or people listening right now, before this conversation, Sneako was like, yo, I got a publicist now. Maybe you are a fan, bro.
Well, first video back, I'm going to leak it now. So me and Brad, we're going to put on yarmulkes and we're going to go to a synagogue and it's just going to be good. It's going to be good. Not too controversial. You know, I want to make some dope stuff.
Is everyone going to say, when you start posting content on YouTube, are they going to say, I want the old Sneako back?
They've been saying that for like 10 years. So I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that nonstop yeah, of course. I like when people say that.
That's actually true. Cause you're growing, you're evolving. It's good. How old are you now, bro?
How old do I look?
Early 20s, 25,
27,
20. Oh shit.
27. Yeah.
Damn. How's it feel?
It's just like I got the Brad head.
You got the Brad cut now.
Wait, can you take your head? Let's see. Do we look alike?
Yeah, I gotta cut it up. You know, we do look alike.
Let me flick it off. Let me flick it virtually. Can you take it off?
No. That's on a different channel. But I'll take it off when I see you next time. If you show up to LA with the bald head, I'll have the bald head.
Brad's funny because like you stream for hours on end with the bald out and it's like taking up half the frame, and you do the pod and you're like, fuck, like it's glued. Like you're in the gym. It's like, it's not coming off.
Yeah. I don't know. I think because when I stream, it's like more private. I feel like, you know, those are the homies for real. Yeah. Those like everyone else, they get on all these other clips. They judge. They're so mean, you know?
Right. It's like having raw sex with the main and then condoms with the sides. Are you
Arnold Schwarzenegger and me right now? What's going on here?
No, that's basically, it's like you have a layer of protection with people. The intimacy is not there yet.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Actually, that's pretty accurate. I thought you were trying to make an Arnold Schwarzenegger joke.
That's a boomer joke. I don't know what he has made with something.
Yeah, he has a kid. Yeah, a kid by his maid. Friend of mine actually. His name's Joe, the son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like that's why I thought you were directly talking about that. Because he got his maid pregnant. He got one of his house workers pregnant, and he has a kid named. But he's a great kid, amazing. One of my favorite people. So, yeah. Anyways,
it's weird that
so listen.
It's a human now.
What?
It's just weird that that story is now like a person. You know, he's known anyway.
Yeah, no, because it was like a scandal. It was like a scandal way back in the day, and then
Yeah, to be like a human scandal. Good luck to him.
It's kind of like you. You're kind of like a human scandal.
Not anymore.
Look at this.
I slapped it off. Slapped it away. I'm all good. I'm back.
No, truthfully, did you ever think this day was coming?
I did. I prayed a lot for it. I prayed a lot for it. So it is weird. Every day it feels really surreal.
What else you pray for? Yeah, what do you actually want out of your life, bro?
I want to go to heaven. That's the most important thing. I just want to make sure.
What do you think allows someone to go to heaven?
Only God knows, but hopefully doing more good than bad. That's the way I see it. Yeah. I think it like evens out. It's like if you do more good than bad, likely you're going to be able to go upstairs. But
What do you
the
think
most
that's
important thing.
like? What do you think it is? What do you think heaven is?
I mean, it's described. I think it's paradise. I think it's eternal paradise.
Do you think it's not physical though? You don't think it's like this?
Something that we can't greater than we can comprehend.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Do you ever talk about this stuff much?
I do. Yeah, I talk about it a lot.
Have you ever, I don't know if I've ever really asked you this. Have you ever had points of like complete disbelief?
Yeah, there was, I even uploaded a video about it. It's on my second channel. It's called I Don't Care About Anything Anymore. I remember I was living in Brooklyn at the time and I had no belief system and I didn't know what to follow and I had no guidebook and I didn't know what to do or what my purpose was. And that was like a complete nothingness. I didn't believe in God. I didn't have faith. And that was a really low point. And since I found it now, it's like, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. It was like being an ant and you don't know how to like build an ant farm or work with the colony. You're just like moving around. And now you know what you're supposed to do, your mission. You got to get the grain of sand and build the house. I now have the programming I need to do what I'm supposed to do.
You just think, but you think supposed to do is all around good.
Yes. Yeah. Serving God and everything stems from that. So like, what does God want you to do? Obviously he wants you to make the world a better place and to pass the test he gives you. I think that was one of the tests. I think at the time when I was speaking about, I think that was the major test. Like, do I choose to speak about this when I can, my life can change, or do I do what's right, or do I take the easier path? And I took the difficult path. And that's why I think I always knew I would get unbanned, because it was righteous and it would sort itself out eventually. And so it was difficult. It was really hard 3 years. It was, getting slandered everywhere, getting lied about, censored, blackballed, all this stuff. It's like, it was a huge challenge, but I was happy for the challenge because I knew I'd come out a better person. And I'm thankful for that. And that's why I'm happy when I think I learned, like, I'm happy to have struggle because you come out a better person. It's like the gym, like you have to train the muscles. They have to go through pain in order to become bigger and stronger. And I think I passed that test and I'm on to the next one.
Yeah. What do you think that test is now though? The new test, whatever it is.
I think it's going to be greater. I think right now, long term, I have yet to fully figure that out. Short term, it's, do I do this properly now that I have a second chance? Am I going to self-sabotage? Or am I going to do it the right way and think long term, see the bigger picture, plan out for the rest of my life instead of short-sighted views, fast, viral.
Yeah. What does long-term good look like for you? Like, where does this, and I said this before, but I want to say it again. What does it all look like in relationship to the content that you make, the sort of followers or following that you have, or the relationship? Like, what does it pertain to that you like see, okay, I want to do good in this aspect and for this aspect? Like, how do you envision yourself? And I know it's one of those corny questions, but in 5 years, like, what are you doing and how are you affecting people? And what do you like? What are you trying to get them to believe or think or feel?
No, that's a good question. So it's not even just with my platform, but it's also just like things you do in everyday life. I think your judge of character is at its most accurate when nobody's looking. Like when the cameras aren't following and the people aren't there, are you really doing the right thing? Are you putting it, is it all for show? Is it, and they even it's written in the Quran. Like that's when you're really tested. Are you doing it for other people's validation? Or are you doing it for God? I read a comment. I don't know who it was. I wish I could give him credit, but someone said, now that God has given you what you wanted so much, you should give up something that's forbidden. Something that you love that's forbidden. In a sense, so like, this is what I wanted more than anything. You know that.
Yeah.
Like YouTube, fighting for this so much was everything. I mean, my life's work was my vindication, my sanity, like just having everything I poured into that. It was everything. And now that I prayed so much and I told God, this is what I want so bad. And now that I have it, I should give up something that I love that's forbidden, because I'm used to that threshold. And that's why it's good to have pain in that struggle, because I'm used to that level and being able to go through life at that pain. So now that I'm going to be happier, you don't want to get too cocky or too arrogant. You want to be able to stay sane, and also to sacrifice is good. So I think in 5 years, the next step is giving up, the fast life. Like the influencer life allows you, have money and free time and access to social experiences that are really easy, and it can get addicting and can be a trap and can be, you understand what I'm saying? Like this life does not encourage the humble family household, and that's what we're supposed to do. And so I think giving up what I love would be a lot of those cheap thrills in order for what's long-term. So that's the next test. Like, can I give up the short-term satisfaction for what's real? So I think in 5 years, I obviously want to get married and start a family and be more disciplined and think about the future, not just for myself, but for my children.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful, man. For real. I think that's the thing. Like we've gotten away, I think because of a lot of obviously a lot of circumstances that like make it more difficult nowadays to even have that or think that can be something that is attainable for a lot of us, which is why I think a lot of young men are having families a lot later, because it's harder earlier to like build something of value that you could sort of live from or live off. Do you think that gets better or worse for people?
It gets better for worse with age?
No, meaning like, do you think that it's going to become easier for the younger generation to get towards that sort of part in their life? Because like, like obviously it was a different time, but 50s, 60s, 70s, you think it's going to get harder?
It's because they're putting everything in front of us to distract us from it. Dating went from getting an ice cream at the cafe or whatever now to swiping right endlessly and, doing one night stands and the abundance of options. And not only that, AI is coming in and replacing a lot of those. And the amount of porn that's everywhere, the amount of all that is replacing and giving us all the dopamine that you would get from a committed relationship. So it's going to get more difficult, and they're making it more difficult on purpose. So people are more easily controlled. So that's the challenge. But I think for people that have already become successful, the challenge is letting go of those, is being able to sacrifice the cheapness of it. Because I think why it's difficult for so many successful people to settle down is because you get used to the access you have, and it's difficult to sacrifice what comes so easy compared to most people. So for the average person, it's going to get nearly impossible. Like look at the way, not only does the average guy, like every these women think, I mean, look, not to be misogynistic or whatever, most women think that their guy should be a millionaire, should have at least 500K, 300K a year. The average guy's making like 45K a year. They all want a guy who's 6 feet. They all want, and just the average dude, to be able to even like talk and get to know a girl, she's already on Instagram. She's already having way more access and options than he is. Like a celebrity can DM her. And she probably has been DM'd by celebrities if she has an active Instagram account and she's slightly attractive. So she has a different perception. Girls are talking to ChatGPT more. Instead of, getting answers that are truthful and where she has to think critically, she can get AI to validate every delusion she has. So it's more difficult to date. And also it's like more difficult to make money. So when you have time to talk to these women, it's a complicated sexual marketplace.
Yeah. It's challenging, man. This shit's so much more challenging than it ever has been, I think. I think for young men, it's like becoming it's interesting because at one point, the internet, I'd say like 5 to 10 years ago, it was just like, damn, it's so kind of not easy, but you could figure it out. There's so many more options like where you can make money. But I think you're right, because now there's so much more access to all these other things that have also come along with it, that the distractions there are much greater. So I think it's for younger men to like you said, your sort of 5-year goal now, I think for all men to think of like, what are the things that you can get rid of or let go of that are not really serving you, that are not making you a better man or a better person or a better partner or a better business person, that are just distractions, because there's so much more of it now than ever. It's just that challenge of like being honest with yourself and being like, all right, this is not serving me. This isn't making me better. I need to let it go. And I think that's becoming harder than ever. So.
Yeah, because it's more addicting than ever. But imagine if you told me 2 weeks ago when I was still banned on YouTube, if you said you can get your YouTube channel back, all you have to do is sacrifice cheap dopamine. You got to go to the gym every day. You can't watch porn. You can't date without trying to marry. You can't waste time going out and partying. Would you take it? I'd say absolutely. I would take it in a second. I don't even have to think about that. I would take the YouTube channel and be able to have that back and be vindicated, be able to create on that platform again. I'll take that a second. Now I have the channel, but I still have the other things, right?
Yeah.
So it's up to me to sacrifice that. And imagine like now that I'm back, imagine no distractions at all, fully focused on what I'm supposed to do. And also imagine me jacked. Imagine like jacked, like 185, you know, I'm 160, imagine 185, 260 is a little much.
Yeah.
185, you know, a different.
For most men, it's too much, but for some men, they could take care of it and handle it, you know? It's too much for you. Some men are a little more like, they're just smaller, but they're just more petite in nature.
Right.
Some
guys need to, some people need to overcompensate, but if you don't need to overcompensate, then 180, like maybe 175, 185, like a new person, like the fully disciplined Sneako. I want to see that guy. Yeah, 260 Sneako. That guy probably has like insecurities or something.
You think that guy would have insecurity? He's just too great, huh? The 260 ones, you can't shoot that far. It's like you're shooting for the fucking moon, not really the stars, huh?
Yeah, it's just like, that's just like, why do you need to do that? It's just so unnecessary, you know, unless you're like a super wrestler or a football player, like why do that?
Too much dedication, too much passion, too much drive. It's not for everyone.
It's just, yeah, no, just to be, you know, doing curls. It's just like, that's unnecessary. That's just like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. It's not for everyone, man. Dude.
Right.
You know, have you ever thought of getting on steroids?
I was going to ask you that.
You're going to ask me that?
As the steroid expert.
Okay, go ahead.
If I did a cycle, can I just stop it and then just go back to, or do I need to keep taking it forever?
So you obviously you can just stop it, right? I think people who take it for a longer period of time have a harder time coming back to normal and like stopping it in general. And that's twofold. I think it's because once you do it, it's kind of like, oh man, I used to say this. I'm trying to grow up a little bit, but I'm trying to give you a good analogy. I'll just tell you. All right. I'm just trying to give you a good analogy, but I was trying to like also be like, I'm a grown man. I shouldn't say this, but I'm just going to say it. It's like good pussy. Okay. Once you get it and once you know it, you don't unknow it. And then you relate all the other ones to the one that's good, right? Because you know, oh, that one was good. Yeah.
Like alpha widow. You ever know the term alpha widow, where a girl is with an alpha man and then he leaves her, and then for the rest of her life, she's like always comparing the guy she's with to that dude?
Yeah, the same thing. So like with the whole conversation around steroids is that once you know what it feels like, because if you already train, if you're already consistent, it's going to increase it to a level that you're like, damn, this is like better. I mean, just point blank period, it's just going to feel better. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel better.
But it's not going to like if I do one cycle, is it going to take away the rest of my hair and shrink your balls and get the zits?
I mean, it will, because the production of testosterone is in the testicles. So it will make your balls a little bit smaller because you don't use them essentially, but it's not just going to like take away your hairline. And there's also other things you could do as far as your testicles are concerned, like HCG, that you can kind of keep volume there as well. That's
not that big, but the hairline is like,
well, the hairline is a genetic thing. The hairline, like, for example, before I ever took steroids, I was already losing my hair. So it was like,
there's a dog. I know a certain guy who takes finasteride. He shocks dogs. Like, do you think that messes up with your hormone balance? I don't want to take finasteride.
Yeah, taking it in pill form is not good, but rubbing it on is not as detrimental to like the rest of your endocrine system. Yeah.
So finasteride fucks up your head.
It can a little bit. Yeah, it can fuck up a little bit.
It might make you so evil you would like shock a dog.
I don't know about that specifically, but yeah, I mean, it other things up in the body. So like topically, like minoxidil and finasteride are good to stop that. But again, it really is determined on your like genetic predisposition to actually losing your hair.
And does it stop testosterone production? Because I'm 27. If I did TRT like Joe Rogan, would that like, would I have to keep on taking testosterone because I can't produce testosterone naturally?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying earlier is like, if you just took it, let's say if you took it you did one cycle and it was like 6 months and you came back to normal, everyone has a different amount of period like that it takes their body to sort of come back to normal. I
have a 670 testosterone.
You just did a 6'7" thing right there? Was that a 6'7"?
No, I'm not no, it wasn't.
It felt like it. That felt like a
The
6,
fact
7.
that the fact that you're saying that meme is like, I think you just killed it. I think it's over now.
I'm glad it's dead. It needs to die. It needed to die right now. But the point is, 670 is good for most people. Some people maybe don't feel as good there. But if you feel good there, stay there. But there are also other benefits to like testosterone use that like you can see for the rest of your life. Like your body will make more androgen receptors within the body because of the excess testosterone. And then those androgen receptors will essentially stay there. And now your body's ability to like have a stronger connection to the testosterone itself, like binding and like being useful, does stay prolonged. Like that is a real thing, like in science-based, it is truthful.
Are you trying to sell me drugs right now?
No, not at all. Not at all. But
because you're doing a really good job. Like now I want to buy steroids.
I know, I'm not even trying to, but you asked me the question. I'm just telling you the truth. Now,
so basically,
with that being said, there's also obviously there's a lot of side effects that can come along with it where like you have to also be mindful. You want to be able to get your blood work done. Like anytime I talk about this kind of stuff, I always try to reference that. It's very important if you're ever going to do it. You want to get your blood work done before, you want to get your blood work done during, and you want to get your blood work done after. So you can know what else is happening in your body. So if you do it the right way, and there is a right way to do it, and there is a wrong way to do it, you can be fine and you can come back to normal and you could, do a 6-month cycle, come back and be normal. The problem, like I said, is the mental aspect of it where it's hard to forget how it feels and you kind of want that feeling. That's the sort of like, I wouldn't call it addictive, but that's the, damn, I want that again because I don't have it now.
Exactly that's what addictive is. It's like once somebody does heroin, Percocet doesn't hit the same.
It's just not as acute. It's not like acute addiction. Like heroin is acute where you're like, I need that shit now. It doesn't feel that way, but your overall life, you'll notice if your testosterone is increased, you will just feel like more of you. You'll feel like more go get it. You'll feel more like,
So short story, long story short, if I do one cycle, it's not going to ruin my testosterone and fuck my life up.
I don't believe so. No, unless you're like predisposed to some shit. I don't think so. If you do it the right way, you don't overdo it. You don't like go too hard. Yeah.
I kind of want to do it the natural, but it's like, I have a tough time eating. That's always been the problem is,
yeah, me too.
But who's on steroids that doesn't admit it? I know Dan Blazerian is very public about it. He's a friend of mine, and he's like, he lists his whole thing. Who do you think is on it that it lies about not being on it?
I mean, bro. Michael Hearn's lied about it forever, I think. But I don't even know if you know Michael Hearn. He's an older
bodybuilder.
Influencer.
I remember. Yeah,
I've been around forever. I've been trying to get him on the pod for a minute. I would confront him about it, but I mean, he's that guy, man. He can't. I don't think you could be like. And maybe he'll react to this, but you can't be like 50-something years old and being like jacked as like he's in tip-top shape all the time.
Yeah, most Miami guys that age, like the Miami dude with the sleeve and the big delts and the tan, and that guy's usually the muscle t-shirt. But what about influencers? Who's on TRT or steroids that isn't say it?
I mean, bro, I feel like a lot of these guys who don't talk about it, I think if you're in the fitness space, most of them are on steroids, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Is there anyone in mind you're asking about specifically?
No, there's a couple people that I suspect, but I want to see what you think. I'm gonna text you one right now. Don't be weird.
Okay.
Let's see.
This is funny. I got a pretty good judge of this. Interesting.
I know Zerka's done it. Zerka talks about it a lot.
Interesting.
Do
you want me to say that?
What do you think? Why don't say that?
I don't. I like how this is like a little inside thing. I don't really believe so. I don't know. Because obviously I've met him. I don't believe so. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like he's had a whole active life, majority of his life.
What about Trump?
I think people get to I think people at that sort of like age, it's just the best thing for them. I think like their doctors might suggest it, truthfully, because cortisol management, there's so many things that like as you age, your body gets really inefficient at. And in taking testosterone and steroids in this case, it's not like they're trying to take steroids to be this like jacked bodybuilder. They're just trying to live a more quality life. So I think someone like that, like Trump, for example, why would he not if he had, all the medical stuff at his disposal that he could do it in a really safe and positive way just for his general well-being?
Would you recommend somebody like me to take, I have 670 testosterone, or I don't know there's different metrics, but that's what I got. I did my blood work. 670, 27 years old. I want to get super jacked, but actually like I have good pec insertions. You know, I don't have gyno or anything.
Yeah.
You know, I know this stuff. I watched your videos when I know all this stuff. I know about rear delts and the, you know, I have good lat insertions. It's like, do I really need it? What do you think?
But that question, it's so hard to say yes or no, because there's so many other things that I don't know if you do well enough. Like, do you go to the gym every day? Do you actually train consistently? Do you drink water? Do you do all these things?
I'm on enough. I drink water. There's water. I drink all these juices and have all this water. It's funny that we go from like Jews to fitness in the same. But yeah, I'm very healthy, but I'm not consistent with the gym. I'll do like 2 months off, 2 months off, 2 months on. Like I'll go really hard, and then like I have to travel, I have to work, and then I can't be consistent, and then the routine stops.
So the real question you got to ask yourself is, if you're willing to like take that step, which is like take the testosterone, take the TRT, whatever it is, are you going to allow yourself to not be inconsistent? Because then that's like the worst case scenario, where it's like you do something that in some senses could be detrimental to your body, where you're not getting the most of it, or you're not making the most of it because your consistency still remains the same. Like that,
no,
a lot
I think
of people
the
have that problem.
comparison, when I was prescribed Adderall when I was 11. And then through my teenage years, when I would take it, I would get the shit done. Like I wouldn't just take Adderall and vibe out. I would do it and lock in.
I mean,
probably the same thing.
Maybe give it a shot. If you think personally that you would actually take it serious and do the things you need to do around it, like the blood work, so you're taking care of yourself overall, then it's not like you're 18. Like I would never tell this shit to an 18-year-old. But
I just got Bradley Martyn to sell me drugs. The meme is not a meme anymore.
Well, I didn't sell you anything. I'm advising you.
You just sold me drugs.
You asked me questions to figure out what you should do for yourself, and I'm just telling you the truth.
Wow.
I didn't sell anything, man. But you can Venmo me later.
Is it expensive? It's expensive, right? Is it?
Nah, I mean, you could. There's so many places now for men's health stuff. You can go and get it pretty cheap.
Isn't it cheaper in Mexico?
Yeah. Everything's cheaper in Mexico. Yeah.
What else are you talking about?
Everything, like water bottles, like
water,
water, fucking tacos, anything's cheaper in Mexico. What do you mean?
Tacos,
okay. Hookers, all that stuff's cheaper in Mexico. You know that.
Yeah,
I know you know about that. I've seen you in Miami.
I mean, never been to Mexico before.
Nah, but I know in Miami it's the imports. You know, I've seen you in Miami, bro.
What have you seen me? Yeah, I see you in Miami at the gym.
I've seen you also not at the gym.
Where else you see me? Dude, that was a bad one.
I've seen you at
public.
11.
Okay, I want to tell this because it's funny. It was after Sugar Sean's fight, and all the influencers went to 11, which is a club, but it's also there's strippers there. It's like a big Miami club. Yeah. And I go there, and Brad's like, "Oh my god, you're here!" And like everyone's there. It's like everybody I know, all my friends. And then like this is right when I was going really hard for Palestine. I'm in the back of the Nelk Boys video. Like there's some Zionist screenshots. It's like, during Ramadan, Sneako's in the strip club. It wasn't even Ramadan. I'm like there for like, it is like,
pretty funny. You weren't doing anything. You were just sitting and people were around you. That's all. But it was funny. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I just like to troll you because you troll me. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's love. That's real. That's brotherhood right there. I never posted the pictures of the videos that I got, so I got your back.
I know. I'll tell that to Brad's audience. He did take sneaky videos. Like, look, he was like threatening blackmail on me. Yeah.
I would never post it. It's just funny. But yeah, So what happened with Tate though with you? It was like he tweeted something about the real one stayed banned, like right when you got unbanned. Yeah,
I thought was weird. He said you could tell who the true freedom fighters are. They don't take the shekels. They stay banned. I'm like, bro, like, come on. It's just, all right, bro. And then I said something on Myron's pod. And the next day he said, congrats on getting unbanned. So
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate him saying that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
no contention there.
Yeah,
yeah. I was supposed to go interview him in Dubai this month.
Yeah, he's got a fight coming up, right? He's fighting who do you think you got, Tate or Chase? He's fighting Chase Demore. I met Chase. He's a good guy.
Chase is a good guy. Chase is tall. Chase is big, skinny, but obviously he's big. He's tall.
They're about the same size. Whenever I see Tate spar, it's always a guy like significantly smaller. So this is like a good size matchup. Pause.
It's hard to count Tate out though, because he's has so much actual ring experience. Like he's done that for a long time. It's not like new to him.
No. And also people are saying he's retired. He's 37, 38. This is like Alex Pereira's older than him. And that guy's one of the best in the. So I think we're learning this year, especially old fighters, you can't count them out.
Yeah. I'd like this. I mean, the funny thing about Tate is like whoever he fought, I'm definitely watching it. I think most people would watch that.
how much do you think he made for that fight? That's got to be a big bag.
It has to be a huge bag.
Because that's one of those dudes. If he loses, his brand takes a big. Like Chase can lose, and it's not. He's going to get more fights. In fact, his stock goes up just by getting this fight. Tate loses. Can you still call yourself top G?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of other things he'd
probably
be able to call himself for. Yeah,
but that's a risk. I'm surprised he took it.
It's got to be. It's got to be. How much you think it is? More than 10. It's got to be more than 10.
I would say. I was going to say 10 to 15.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
Mm.
I wonder if he'd say it. I wonder if he hasn't talked about it much. I think Tate was, Tristan was talking about it a little bit, but I don't think Tate even confirmed the fight yet. Probably still trying to figure out.
I just saw it around. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him in a while. You're close to him?
Yeah. I was supposed to go interview him, like I said, in Dubai. Just the flights. I was like, these flights are crazy.
16 hours, man. 16 hours.
Bro. Yeah, I did not want to do that. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll probably make something happen soon.
Yo, that's crazy. So you were gonna fly 16 hours to Dubai to interview Tate, but you couldn't fly like 5 hours to New York.
I didn't fly, but I didn't fly. You see what I'm saying? I didn't even fly.
I know, but you could have did this. This flight is like nothing compared to that. You're back and forth one day.
Yeah, but I've flown out to you to do a podcast already. What is this, bro?
No. You happened to be here and you took a shit in my bathroom. It wasn't like planned out.
Wait, no, I thought we did plan it. We did plan it.
No, you didn't fly here to do the pod. No. You're lying right now.
Why was I here? Why was I in New York then?
Sugar Sean lost against Morale.
Oh, that's fair. That was in Jersey. I was in Jersey. You're right. You're absolutely right. Vindicated. Look at you.
Always.
I was like, why not pull up and say what's up to Sneako, man? Shit in his bathroom. Do a little pod.
Get it. Farm some podcasts.
Yeah.
Farm me for content,
Say what up to the cancel guy that, can't get anywhere else, but, right here on this channel.
Not anymore, man.
I know. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm happy for you. I wanted to do the podcast because I want to say I'm happy for you because I think you deserve it. So.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see what you do with it. I'm also excited to see how you move through like still talking about the same things you talk about, whether it's on or off platform.
Do you think I went too hard this podcast?
No, not at all.
No? Okay. I did talk about it a lot more than I thought I would. Also, you saw a sneak peek of my first video back. So I've been uploading some of my older Twitter vlogs. I posted 2 on my main channel and a lot on my second channel. What do you think of the video I'm working on? Brad saw a sneak peek before the pod.
I think it's poetic for sure. And I also really like the coat. I really like the coat. But you've always had that spin on your content. It's more artistic. And I guess I just found out recently before this podcast, you edit all your own shit. I didn't even know that.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
That's probably why they come out the way that they do, right? Because you obviously care about that in a creative way.
Yeah,
the intro's sick for sure. I think they're gonna like it a lot.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna go on a run. I'm about to go on a little run. This podcast is gonna be the marker of a generational YouTube comeback. See, everybody loves the come up. The comeback is better.
No, people love the comeback. I think the comeback even more than the come up. Because at the point you get to a point on the come up, and then when everyone really just starts to hate you, and then they love to see you crash.
That's what the internet does. The internet loves to hate somebody who's doing really well. Like you see happens to Kai Cenat. He starts succeeding and everybody starts hating on him for like little dumb reasons just to tear him down for fun. So everyone needs to fall. I had such a big crash. It's like, bro, you can't tear me down again. Like now I have all the cards stacked in my favor to really I don't want to say redeem myself, but to take over again. Yeah. Bigger.
Well, I'm happy for you, man. I look forward to see it. And I think, you'll probably be out in LA, probably do some content, maybe for your vlogs or some stuff with Steve. But is there anything else you want to tell your audience?
No, man, I'm just excited for this comeback. So I don't know when this podcast will be out, but probably right around when I drop my first video back. And I'm really nervous about it, but I'm excited I'm about to go finish it right now.
Cool. Well, if that's all there is, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for taking it.
Thanks so much, Brad, for having me. It's always fun. I don't know. We've done a lot of pods and it's always interesting.
All right. We're out of here. Thank you, Sneako. Every Tuesday. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next week.